Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Valérie Sainte-Agathe, and I'm the San Francisco Girls Chorus Artistic Director. This is our first virtual project release of the year. So to give you a little bit of background, SFGC is back to in-person rehearsals and performances. But because we are working with children, we want to be careful. And I imagine a season with opportunities available for everyone. So if you feel comfortable attending our performances, we'll have concerts with our guest artist in residence, Bobby McFerrin, and we'll also perform our own commission opera, Tomorrow's Memories, in collaboration with Magic Theatre. But if you would rather stay online, we are preparing a wonderful holiday concert for you with our guest artist, Edwin Wiesinger, and we are launching right now our season with our video project, The Line Between. And to introduce the project, I'm really happy to welcome here a composer, Cava Menzies, and Virginia Kelsey, who is part of Roomful of Teeth. And hello, both of you. Thank you for being with us. It's just wonderful. I'm really happy that we can share on in a broader way this video that we created during the pandemic. And everything actually started with a collaboration with the wonderful ensemble Roomful of Teeth. And so, Virginia, would you like to say a word about what happened, which kind of collaboration we created? The idea was to have Roomful of Teeth being teaching and sharing different skills with our singers. And would you mind talking about that with us?
Sure. So we were able to collaborate with the girls via online workshop, and we, as an ensemble, Roomful of Teeth, we even though most of us are classically trained, I think we're all classically trained at this point in some facet or another, and are have backgrounds in choral singing and in bel canto singing, but we as an ensemble we sort of cast a wide net sound-wise. So we, we take inspiration from all different kinds of music, all different, vocal sounds. Generally, we stick with sounds that are innately vocal. So we're never trying to imitate guitars or imitate drums, right? We do some percussive elements, but it's usually never in the style of beatboxing and stuff like that. So we're always trying to foster an expanded sound palette of idiomatically vocal sounds. And so what we did was we sort of brought the girls into the fold sort of sonically. So we are choral singers, they are choral singers, but the human voice can do so much more than sing beautiful blended sounds. So, which they do very beautifully, by the way. And so, yeah, so we worked on some belting, some more kind of like speech-based production. We worked on some yodeling, so breaking the voice instead of smoothing over the head and chest registers to make a really unified sound. We also celebrate what it sounds like when you juxtapose those two sounds against each other. To circle the wagons around the sort of point of the piece, which Cava, you'll talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, that's sort of, just we played with some sounds that are not usually in the wheelhouse of choral singers. And it was super fun. They're so, younger people are so adaptable and their bodies are able to really pick up things really quickly. And so they, they did an amazing job. They're beautiful.
Yeah, and that was really fun. And it's true that what was really interesting to me was to have the singers understand that it's not because you study classical music or the lyrical style of while using your voice that you can't sing anything else, that you can sing musical, that you can. And so it was very, very important for them to understand that, because most of the time they just think that if they sing one style, they can sing others. And so to have this guidance from you, and I know you can do anything. So vocally, so it was just great to have you being able to show them that.
Yeah, we, you know, we're of the belief that all singing is healthy singing, that in any singing modality you can, using, you know, the sort of very basic tenets of support and you know, finding just a little bit of manipulation of resonant space in order to create ease in the production, so that you can be heard without having to really push with a lot of subglottal pressure, like pushing up from underneath to create more sound. So just these few little tweaks, right, can turn any style of singing into healthy singing. And you know, bel canto singing has really only been around for a very short period of time in the span of human voices, of human singing. And so, you know, the mentality that bel canto is the only way or the most legitimate way is, you know, it's a pretty hegemonic way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, and so we, you know, I think in the vein of wanting to have a more global view of the human voice, and pushing back against the idea that classical music is the only way is something that we're, you know, as part of our mission. So
that's great. Be adventurous, right?
Yeah.
Great, Cava. So I was really happy that we were able to work with you, because you're also an SFGC alum, and so we are very proud to have you. And so, do you want to share with us the title of your piece, right? The line between, and how did you work with our singers and come up with the piece that you wrote for us?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you shouted out that I'm an SFGC alum, because that was a very big formative part of my just musical upbringing as a child. And I also have a very special connection to Roomful of Teeth. The director of the group was my high school choral director. And so it was this beautiful marriage between worlds of styles that I really appreciate, people that I really appreciate. The line between, I have always been fascinated with the concept of intersectionality and the places in which things meet. How do they meet up, and what does that look like? What is the distance between them? Is there distance? Is there overlap between them? And I think particularly this past year, because we were all sheltering in place, because we were all watching the myriad of things happen in the world, there was a lot of conversation around intersectionality. There was a lot of conversation about how cultures intersect. How do we talk to each other? Where are the juxtapositions, like Virginia mentioned? Where are the commonalities? Where are the places where we need to bend and listen and be flexible? And I've always been fascinated with that concept, just as a mixed race woman. And I also think it just was musically appropriate, just knowing that we were taking the San Francisco Girls Chorus, and as you were mentioning, the bel canto style of singing and kind of choral blended singing, and then Roomful of Teeth is so adventurous and really expands the boundaries of what it means to sing and what you can do with the human voice. And so to me, that was even a juxtaposition, is how do we create just how do we create a place in which those two styles can simultaneously exist and talk to each other? So it was just incredibly fun for me to compose along this vein. I mean, it was new for me too. Like I was writing Virginia often, like, how would you write a yodel? Or like, what's the appropriate way? You know, I've composed before, I've written and notated music before, but this is also just an expansion of what I know about musical notation. We did some vowel morphing at the end of the piece, and I'd never seen how vowel morphing was written. And so it was just a beautiful learning experience for me as well, just as a composer. And then I also, you know, I also just gave some nods to what I learned in SFGC. When I was in the chorus, we did a lot of collaborations with Kitka, the Bulgarian group Kitka. And so that was something that I absolutely loved. And I always, yes, exactly, big hearts for Kitka. And in particular, pedal tones. Like that has always just been my jam. Like I love music that has this sort of like pressing note and everything bends and morphs around it. And to me, that is also symbolic of the line between, where it is just sort of this like delicate balance and this delicate tension that we're holding. And so I tried as many ways as possible, both through the text, through some of the harmonic textures, just through some of the extended techniques to really represent what does it mean to straddle those lines.
And that was great. I can tell you that the singers really enjoyed singing this piece. They also enjoyed having conversations with you because you took the time to discuss with them. And this is what I like when we have artists in residence and who are able to share and listen to what they have to say. And so this way I'm able to introduce the second video that's going to be also presented today, which is the postlude. This video, those two videos actually has been created by Dashon Burton, also a member of Roomful of Teeth. And Dashon also came to give several masterclasses, voice masterclasses to our singers. And he's just so talented. He is also creating videos. So we are really happy that we've been able to collaborate with him on that. And he gathered all different thoughts from the girls, also talking about what it meant for them, this idea of the line, this line between the idea of what was comforting for them during this pandemic. And so we just created, we have this new project that we will be able to introduce to everybody tonight. So, well, thank you both. It was a wonderful collaboration, a light, right? You know, during those difficult time where, you know, those collaborations brought a lot of hope, you know, to our singers. Thank you, because you've been two amazing role models for them, just for them to understand that no matter what happens when you are an artist, you keep going. This is what we do, right? So it was very, very important for us to have you. So thank you. I hope this is the beginning of further collaborations. We'll be very creative. Absolutely. And everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
When I first got into Carissima, I had to make this big decision if I wanted to continue with the chorus or not, and kind of figure out if this is really my passion, this as in singing, and to continue that. And obviously I chose to continue that, but that was kind of a really big moment where I never had that point where I had to sit down and think about if my passions for chorus or my passions for other things, which was more important to me.
So my favorite color is blue. More specifically, my favorite shade of blue. Well, I'm kind of a big fan of like hex codes because I use them a lot when I'm like coding. My favorite color is 4BA 5BB as a hex code. And I would describe it more blue than teal. Kind of dark, on the darker side, not too bright. Yeah, I think it's a really pretty color. I'd say that the last song that took me off to a far off place in the universe is this song called YYZ, which is by Rush. It's from the album Moving Pictures in 1981, and it took me off because it's very loud, which I really like. It's also got some interesting things going on with rhythm, and something that I really like about 80s music is that they use stereo to the full extent, so I'll either listen to it in the car or I'll play it on my stereo speakers, and it's fun because it just kind of transports you into this like three-dimensional musical experience.
Okay, question number 3. Tell me the name of someone who helped you get through a transitional moment in your life. The first person that comes to my mind is Eliana, who is also in Carissima, and she is one of the closest people in my life, one of the people who knows most things about me and knows me very well, and she will always be more than like a best friend. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but she's helped me get through probably the toughest things that I've been through in the last few years, and she's really helped me navigate through all of that. Yeah.
The last song that did this for me was the song We Belong. It's from a Netflix TV show. We love Netflix, so it's a song about how friendship and song about friendship and how far that can take you, and how being friends with someone, you are making your own family with them. When I play this song, it makes me feel connected, but it doesn't necessarily have to be to anyone in particular. It's just connected feeling, yeah. It's one of those songs that is so like emotionally raw and has such deep connection that I can only play like 3 times a year because of how it makes me feel. I find that the journey is similar to how the silence when you're with a close friend isn't awkward because you're with them and you're sitting happily, even joyfully, in that silence.
Okay, this question is the song question. What's the last song that took you to a place far off in the universe? I think the first song that comes to mind is Joni Mitchell's Little Green, and I think that has been my favorite song for the last number of years, for a really long time, but always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, if someone asked me my favorite song, I wouldn't right away say Little Green by Joni Mitchell, but whenever I listen to it, it's just really nostalgic for me. It brings me back to a lot of different moments that I can think of specifically, but I won't get into that. But yeah, and I feel like whenever I listen to it, I kind of just am, if that makes sense, just kind of with the universe. I don't know if that's even a good way to explain it, but like, I don't know, it kind of brings me to a different place that other songs don't bring me to.
Question 5. It's a mix of morning dew and fading starlight, of sparkles and dreams and wishes come true, of childhood memories and futures of fantasy, of bedtime stories and the wink of dawn. delicate forget-me-nots of summertime joy and the first snow of ethereal winter. My favorite versions of blue are the dancing periwinkle sparkles of my culture's blue wisteria trees.
I think I'd probably say I'm at a crossroads in my life right now. That is, there's a lot of changes happening soon. I'm finishing up high school in a couple weeks. I'm gonna have to leave chorus soon, which makes me really sad since I've been here for around 12 years and I just love singing with all the girls in my I mean, they're all my friends and it's gonna be pretty hard to leave them, but yeah, we'll stay in touch. I'm hoping I can come back as a counselor in later years for the summer camp.
Someone who's helped me get through a transitional moment in my life is my English teacher, because she's always inspired me to keep writing, keep doing what I love, keep singing, because she was a really big supporter of my music. And I don't know where I would be without her, because I've started my blog because of her, my YouTube channel, and a lot of my activism came from her. So I'm more aware of who I am now because of her.
Fascinating